Now, if you're anything like me, you probably are researching a refrigerator before you actually pull the plug on it. And in this video, we're gonna go ahead and take a look and see if this particular model is actually worth it. First, let's get some paperwork out of the way. So this model is the WRF535SWHZ. That is one mouthful. But the price of the refrigerator was $1,769, and I purchased this unit on 10/26/20, so it's about 4 years ago. Now, the overall height of the refrigerator is 70 1/8 inches, while the depth of the refrigerator with the handles was 35 1/2 inches. Finally, in terms of width, the refrigerator spanned 35 5/8 inches. So those are the dimensions to keep in mind if you're going to be purchasing this refrigerator. Now, when it comes to capacity, the total capacity of the refrigerator is 25 cubic feet, with the refrigerator capacity being 18 cubic feet and the freezer capacity being 7 cubic feet. Finally, it is Energy Star certified, so it should save you a little bit of energy compared to the older refrigerators. Now, I usually go online and do some research before I pull the plug on a large appliance, especially a large purchase like this. And a lot of companies and a lot of reviews really gave this particular model a thumbs up. And it's been approximately 4 years since I purchased this refrigerator, so let's see how it's held up. Now, one weird thing about this refrigerator is that it actually has the water outlet right here. It's a little bit of an awkward position with the way I'm sitting, but we actually don't mind it at all. This is a little bit different from your traditional fridges that usually have it out in the front door. We don't mind it at all, though. It's worked very well for us. Another thing that kind of concerned us that over time was kind of alleviated was this little mechanism here. Now, when you close it, you see it's supposed to just kind of fold in there like so. But we were afraid that over time friction would kind of destroy that. Honestly though, it doesn't really give us any issue at all. Now, this thing is opened daily, many times, and the mechanism for the fridge still works just fine. So I'll show you with this one. So see, it kind of forces this one to open a little bit and then it shuts back down. So that definitely is still working. Now, I just want to point out the finishing on this is obviously not the greatest, particularly because we put some magnets here and it seems to kind of destroy the finish over time if you drag the magnets around, which is understandable. So other than that, everything on this fridge is still working mechanically. And I think aesthetic wise, it still looks absolutely perfect other than a couple minor scratches. For 4 years, I would say that's honestly not too bad. The front is stainless steel, so I can, take these magnets and just kind of put them wherever I want. And as long as you take them off and then, put them where you want, it works just fine. But if you start dragging them around, it can destroy the finish pretty heavily. You can see we kind of learned that the hard way right here. We are not able to take that off. So I think that's really the only bad spot, but everything else is okay. Now, like most appliances, the refrigerator needs clearances both on the sides and on the top as well. So when I built this particular spot for the fridge, I kept that in mind. So far, it hasn't given us any issue with regard to cooling. Now, just to stress to you guys how important it is to have those clearances, you can see that just off of that small gap I have on top of the fridge there, it's dissipating the heat. So it's getting rid of the heat from inside the refrigerator. Now, if you are going to get one of these fridges, there's just one thing you need to keep in mind. You see how I have this door here kind of close to this wall? That really wasn't a good design on my part because you open it, you can't really push it all the way to the other side. So this is a placement failure on my part. You can't have these fridges so close to the wall there. Let's see what the inside of the refrigerator looks like in terms of temperature readings. All right, so you can see I just opened the refrigerator here and everything is really freaking cold. It looks like we're at about 5 degrees, 6 to 10 degrees there on that bag of pot stickers there, and everything else is pretty much within that range. This chicken here is about 10 degrees, 10 to 15 degrees. So that's very cold. That's at the 4 setting. Remember, I haven't changed that. Let's see what the top unit looks like. Now, obviously, you don't want to have this open too long because then it just starts to bring the heat back in. You'd be surprised how quickly things in here can heat up. This is a large opening, so a lot of the heat can come back in. But you can see that we are at about, it seems like 45 degrees on that tray there. which is pretty cool. That's aluminum, so that's expected. Just keep in mind that the temperature here might be higher because I've had this open for a little bit for you guys. I can tell you right now, I haven't had any issues with this refrigerator cooling anything up here. Now, perhaps one of the weirdest features that I didn't know if I was gonna like, but eventually it kind of grew on me, was this little drawer right here. We use it to store a lot of butter, and it seems to work very well. I didn't know if I was gonna like it. It actually works very well for us because we don't have to clog up the main space, as I call it, with all of these other extra food items. So we put ham in there, butter, cheese sticks. I know that this, I think, was originally meant for drinks, but we don't really drink soda or pop or any of that. So if you are on the fence about this, trust me, at some point it's gonna grow on you. Now, one thing I do want to point out to you guys is that the filter is easily accessible. You just push that little tab in and replace it. You can get one from Whirpool, or you can get third-party ones on Amazon. Now, keep in mind that all of the shelves in here are adjustable. I just have them set at this height because it works the best for us. But if you look over here, these little guys have slots that you can insert the sheet metal in, and it actually does a pretty good job of holding up a lot of weight. We put a Dutch oven in here with soup, and it seems to hold that up very well. Now, the controls for the refrigerator are located over here, and these guys control both the refrigerator temperature and the freezer temperature. So this compartment and the bottom compartment. But to be honest with you guys, I haven't touched this thing since it came from the factory. I've left it at this temperature and it's been perfect for us. All right, so now let's take a look at the freezer here. Let's see what this looks like. And you can see that it does offer quite a bit of space. We bought a lot of pounds of chicken, I think about 30 pounds, 30 to 35 pounds. And you can see we fit most of it here. So that seems to work very well for us. It also has this little guy right here, which slides out, so we put our frozen vegetables here, and the ice maker is located over on the left hand side. And I gotta say that this thing is freaking awesome. And if you look over here, there is a tiny little lever that you can see right here. So if you flip it up, then that puts it into vacation mode and it turns off the ice maker. Overall, we've had absolutely no issues with this refrigerator. Now, the only thing that might be a pain in the butt that I will point you to is cleaning back there. Let me see if I can fit the camera in there. You know, there's obviously some stuff over there. We're gonna have to clean that, but I can imagine this being a little bit of a pain in the butt to remove. Other than that, though, once the fridge is in place, it works flawlessly. Placing the fridge is a whole different story. If you're gonna be moving this fridge, it is not gonna be as easy as your ordinary refrigerator. You really have to keep that in mind. So wherever you put this thing, you better be damn sure that that's where it's going to be, because maneuvering it requires you to go under the fridge and, you know, loosen some things, and then you got to move it and then, you know, tighten those things back up. Right? It's just going to be a pain in the butt. So make sure you measure everything, put everything in correctly, and then you should be good to go. Now, I know that they don't make appliances like they used to anymore. Trust me, I have one of those basement refrigerators that last forever. But for 4 years, I got to say, this thing has not given me any issues. It hasn't given me a single issue, and I did a lot of research before I bought it. So I gotta say that those folks that recommended this definitely get a thumbs up. I would highly recommend this refrigerator. It is just great. We have no problems with it. So definitely recommend this fridge. With that being said, if you guys have any questions regarding this refrigerator, let me know and post them down there in the comments. Otherwise, take care. Bye-bye.